In this video, we're going to talk about our application layer remote communication protocols, and there's two that we want to talk about. We want to talk about Telnet and SSH. So what is Telnet? Well, Telnet stands for Telecommunication Network, and SSH stands for Secure Shell. Now, they both do the exact same thing. They both are designed to allow you to use a protocol that interacts with an application so you can remotely log into a device on the network, whether that's a router, a switch, or a server. And the goal with having these is that you can log in remotely and you can do remote administration on those devices without having to physically be in front of them. So that's why we use Telnet and that's why we use SSH. Now, we don't use Telnet anymore because it's antiquated and it sends everything across the network in plain text. It doesn't encrypt anything, so everything's unencrypted. And so that's a cybersecurity and network security concern. So Telnet is an antiquated protocol. It's not used anymore. And if it is, it shouldn't be used by people that are using it. Instead, everybody is using SSH or Secure Shell. And it looks a lot like Telnet, it acts a lot like Telnet, however, its communication is encrypted. And there's a very popular free client that a lot of people use called PuTTY SSH. So these are the two protocols, and I just want to show you a couple screenshots. But before I get to that, one thing I want to highlight is that they both use TCP. So if you notice on the slide, both Telnet and SSH use TCP because they have to set up that three-way handshake when they're setting up their session. Now let's go ahead and let's take a look. With Telnet being an older protocol, a lot of people use a console or a command prompt to simply access the device. So you would simply go to your command prompt, or you would go to your console and you would type in Telnet, the IP address, and the port number you want to communicate on. And localhost is the same thing as saying 127.0.0.1, meaning that you're trying to connect to your actual device. And here is a screenshot of PuTTY. PuTTY is an actual application that you would use. You would use this instead of using your console. So a lot of people use an actual software suite like PuTTY instead of console when they're using SSH. And so here's just a quick snapshot. If anybody is interested, you can simply go out to the internet and you can do a quick Google search for PuTTY SSH or simply PuTTY, and this should come up, and you can play around with this if you want, if you have a device where you can try SSHing into it. So that's going to go ahead and conclude our quick introduction lecture to our remote communication protocols in the TCP/IP protocol suite, SSH, and Telnet.